Stella, give me 1 second, honey. There we go. There's nothing there that says that.
Manage.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Should change.
All right, cool beans. Okay. Sorry, guys. I had to work a little something on the phone. Okay. So then some people join in. That's why he's looking directly into the camera, because then my eyes go every which way. So, guys, welcome to Narc Survival 101, the live chat for the week. This is thank you, Stella. Thank you, sweetheart. This is a weekly check-in for people who are victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse. The safe place for people who have been victims and turned survivors of any form of abuse, narcissistic, domestic violence, you name it. Here to support you guys. So what I normally do for people who are already used to the channel, for people who've been here before, if you're joining us again, thank you. Welcome. I'm sorry, guys. I've been trying to do so much throughout the day. It's been a really hectic day, but welcome. Anyone who is new to the channel, stick around. If you're going through anything, stick around. You may need to. Well, Jessica, you came to the right place. You really did. Trust me. We talk about everything and anything, tactics, signs. Some of the things you can do to remedy your situation, possibly break free from it if you're able to. Any way we can help you. That's what I'm here for. So I first want to start. Brittany, welcome, sweetheart. Amrod, I wish. They're my real eyes, but they're not my real color. So guys, the first thing I want to do is give the disclaimers, okay? We know how I start my lives. I give the disclaimers first, and then we get into it. First disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional, okay? I'm just simply someone who has been through probably the same thing you've been through, maybe worse, maybe less, and I managed to utilize my pain to turn it into power in educating myself and now furthering myself into the field of psychology. So I am still learning myself, but I do give you the tips and tools that you may need to help you get through your situation. Any questions you may have, help you with that as well. Okay, so if you are currently getting therapy, continue to do so. This is not meant to replace it. This is all for informational purposes, okay? Number two, I don't do bullies, so I let that be known now. Quite a few people have already heard my mouth. I am an empath. I'm a very empathetic person. I am a survivor of narcissistic abuse amongst other forms of abuse. And with that same breath, I love everybody. I got nothing but love for everybody. I find anybody bullying up in here, you will hear my mouth, okay? And I got the mouth of a trucker. So let's just make that clear right now, okay? No bullying the other people in the chat. No trying to come at me, because I will send you home holding yourself. So just keep that in mind. All right? All love in here. This is a safe space for people who are going through the motions, for people who need help, and for people who are just trying to get over their situation. So if you're not about it, just keep it moving. You got nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And number three, you guys already know, those purple hearts, guys. Okay? Please throw up the purple hearts to help share awareness, to help give the voices to the voiceless, for those who have suffered narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse, for those who were unable to give their stories and were unable to speak their truths, and for those who are still struggling, okay, who are still struggling to do it. So please throw up those purple hearts. That would mean a lot to me. I love it already, guys. Loving it already. So let me go back up. I want to make sure I don't forget anyone. Yeah, Jessica, stick around. You might hear, if you're going through anything, you might hear answers to some of the questions you may have. Thank you so much for the gifts, guys. Thank you, Maritza. Thank you, sweetheart. Just stick around. And of course, if today's live is unable to answer some of the questions you have, we have other lives that I've done previously. And I also have content on my YouTube channel. I do lives. I have other video content there as well. You can click the link in my bio and it'll take you right there. And if you have any further questions that we have not covered, you can always email me, narcsurvival101@gmail.com, and I'll try to help you with whatever it is that you need, okay? Okay, let me just go back up, guys. I want to make sure I don't forget anyone. Hi, Maritza. Hi, sweetheart. So glad you were able to make it. Susan, first time I'm 1 year no contact. That's awesome. That is awesome. Guys, if you're no contact, please put up how long you've been no contact, okay? How long you have been no contact. I know that's the hardest part of the situation is no contact, is maintaining no contact from someone that, who's been narcissistically abusive, domestically abusive. It's really, really hard. I trust me. I've failed a few times myself. So let me know how long it's been for you. Wow, let's see, we got Black Gal, we got 3 years for you. Twisted, 1 year. A June Bug, 2 years. Nene, we got almost 2 years. Skunked, nice to meet you. Glad you're able to join us. If you have any questions, please let me know. I want to make sure I don't forget anybody. All right. So just for anyone who's new, who's just now joining, this is a chat room for people who have suffered narcissistic abuse, who are seeking information, seeking support, seeking help, narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse. Okay. If that doesn't apply to you, if you still want to stick around, that's perfectly fine. If not, it's fine if you leave too. No love lost. Okay. Tiffany, wow, 25 years. We got Joan, 7 years. Let me just go back. I don't want to forget anybody. Lovely Butterfly, 1 year and 2 months. Guys, that's awesome. CQ, 5 going on 6 months. Keep going, sweetheart. Keep going. Aries Fire, we got 5 years. Sarah, we have 2 months. I know it's hard. A couple of months is still kind of hard, I know, because you're still going in and out of it, and it's not even, probably not even the part of, wanting to be around the person. It's more so just getting over things. And trust me, 2 months is, not long enough to get over the situation. So just remember, guys, if you guys are still in the beginning stages of the no contact, meaning, anywhere between weeks to a couple of months, just try to stay strong in it. Try to stay strong in it, okay? Yes, Vanessa says trauma bond, which we're going to talk about that too. We're going to talk about trauma bonds. We're going to talk about what it is and, the type of trauma bond that you were more than likely enduring in the midst of your relationship, whether it be your romantic relationship or your family relationships. Breezy, 2 days, it's hard. It is hard. Trust me. And if you need support, please do not hesitate to reach out. Okay. I know the beginning stages of no contact from, after a discard, whether it be you, them, or them, you, it's a very, very hard road. Trust me. I completely understand. And so many other here completely understand too. So just keep in mind, okay, you have to stay strong. Try to, one of the things I did when I went on my no contact journey was I removed myself from social media, and I basically kind of went radio silent. And the reason I did that was because I wouldn't be tempted to look at the social media or look into the person's life or try to see what's going on, because you have to break that attachment. Okay, that's the first step. Breaking the attachment is hard because you're so accustomed to being with the person. Okay, When we grieve, guys, and I think I mentioned this last week, when you grieve after a discard, okay, it almost feels like you're grieving the death of someone, okay, because it's the separation. The separation is what's getting to you. You're so accustomed to being with the person, you're so accustomed to seeing that person every day and talking to that person, being around them. So when you are going through the motions, you're in the 5 stages of grief. All right. And in the beginning, it's really hard because you're addicted. You're still addicted to the person. That is the trauma bond. That's the trauma bond. Just keep that in mind. Okay. What I want you to understand though, and please, anyone who's just now going through a discard or still, still in the ruminating stage, you're not in love with them. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, you're not in love with them. Okay? What you think is love, what you think is, the feelings of love, that is not love. It's the trauma bond. It is the trauma bond. You are going through withdrawals, okay? And again, I'm going to go over the whole trauma bond situation because I know a lot of people have experienced the trauma bond and can't understand why they can't stop thinking about the person, why they can't let the person go, why they can't stop going to their social media and, doing all of the things that a lot of us have done during the discard phase, okay? Give me one moment, guys. I'm sorry. It's going, hey, official. Hi, sweetheart. I'm gonna answer your questions, guys. I promise. I just want to make sure I don't forget anyone, okay? So I'm just going back up. Lulu, I'm about to escape my DV marriage to a narcissist, and we're behind you on it, sweetheart. We're behind you on it. You have all the support you'll have all the support you need, I'm sure, and you'll have people who have gone through the motions as well. Especially here, there are people who, talk to other people and have, because no two people situations are the same, but they're very similar to one another. And you have people that have certain situations. Like, for example, if you are co-parenting with a narcissist, your situation may be different from someone who doesn't have kids with a narcissist, but you may have certain similarities in the issues of the relationship that you had. So you'll definitely, you're definitely in a safe place. Whatever information you need, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you, official. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, give me one moment. I just want to make sure. It's going up so fast. Um, okay, let's see. Um, oh, Maureen, thank you. Yeah, I get I think one of the things I get a lot is that I look like someone to someone else. Like I look like someone to them or I sound like them. But that's a compliment, so thank you. Every time it just keeps going. Um let's see. Seven abiti. You have one day. Well, you know what? Keep going. Keep going. If you're still here, keep going, sweetheart. Keep going. It's I always said it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and it's gonna take time. Rachel has a little over a year. Um, Dell, I'm sorry if I butcher your name. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't mean to do it. I just want to make sure I get to the person who's um Del Apodaca. I hope I said it right. I'm not sure what a narcissistic person is, and I feel I'm dealing with it now. Well, how about, you know what, if you can, okay, because a lot of us have a lot of familiarity with narcissistic people. What are the things that they're demonstrating to you? What are the things that they're showing to you? For someone to classify as, because anyone can be narcissistic. Anyone can be narcissistic. It's completely capable, for it's a big possibility that a lot more people are narcissistic than they are classified a narcissist. But to draw up a narcissist, they have to have certain types of qualities in order to be deemed a narcissist. But if tell me what it is they're showing you, and I can give you a better idea of what it is you may be dealing with. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I try so hard to answer and respond to so many people. Jess says, what an awesome group. Thank you. Been free from a narcissist relationship almost 18 years. Took me 5 to leave. But that's awesome. That is awesome. Very awesome. And you guys, you should be very proud of yourselves for being able to break free from it and actually, staying strong, standing in your truth and actually, continuing moving forward. Be very, very proud of yourself. Sarah, I blocked them from everything. And that's what you have to do. You have to block them from everything. Keep your social media. If you do decide to stay on social media, keep your social media private. Do not, you got to vet people who are trying to add you on social media. Do that, because often if you discard them, and even if they discard you, it doesn't really matter. But often, to keep an eye on you, to monitor you and the things you do, they send people to watch you. So they'll send people to thank you for the gift. Thank you, Louis. If I don't get to thank you personally, guys, for sending gifts, I just want to thank you ahead of time. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. But they will send people to try to monitor you, to keep an eye on you, make sure, because they could be with New Supply, they could be with someone else, and still try to keep an eye on you. Still trying to see what it is you're doing. They want to make sure that you are still in that space. Okay, excuse me. They want to make sure that you're still thinking about them, you're in a depressive state, you still have feelings for them. They want to make sure that you're staying put, you're staying where they left you. Okay, and often they will manipulate their friends, they'll manipulate their family members into believing that it's necessary to watch you, to keep an eye on you, to keep an eye on the things that you do. Which is why I always say, when you break free from someone who's a narcissistic or a narcissist, you have to break free from everybody who's around them too. You have to cut ties with everyone, friends, family members of theirs, anyone who's affiliated with them. Because 9 out of 10 times, the people who are affiliated with them, especially if they agree to do these things, they're their flying monkeys. Okay? Remember, the loyalty that these people have is towards that person. Always has been. It's always going to be that way. All right. And even if they're with New Supply, that sense of entitlement keeps them in the throne of, I get to say and do whatever I want while still having control over you. I can still watch you, monitor, and often if they see that you're breaking free, if they see that you're moving on, you're moving along, and you're not giving them reactions, you're not giving them any kind of response, what they do is they tend to try to jump back into the picture, even if it's temporary. Okay? How many of you have dealt with someone who discarded you, did everything that they did? You thought, okay, it's completely over, it's done with, you're going to go in your own direction. And the next thing you know, as you're walking, someone grabs your hand, like, hey, wait, where are you going? And they pop back up in your life. Even if it's for a split second, they pop back up in your life and then they disappear again. Or they're on that, they're on that BS again. They'll be breadcrumbing you. This is to keep you stuck. It's to keep you in the place where they left you. Okay. And for anyone who is dealing with that, I want to tell you right now, okay, the promises to change, I need space, I need to be away, I need to just figure myself out, figure things out. The gaslighting, oh my gosh, the gaslighting. They have no intention on changing. They have absolutely zero intention on changing. I don't know who, but somebody needed to hear that. They have no intention on changing. They have all the intentions to be out there and do whatever they want to do. Okay, that grass is greener syndrome. I don't even call it a syndrome. But once they've either gotten bored of it, once they either, they just, it's no longer fueling them, they have all intention to try to come back to you to do everything all over again. Okay? And if you let them back in, I guarantee you it will get worse. Okay? That first discard is nothing compared to the many other discards that will happen if you continuously allow them back into your life. So just bear that in mind. If you have gone through the discard and you're trying to heal from the situation, they have no intention in changing. These people are not self-aware. They do not sit there thinking to themselves, I have a problem, something is wrong with me. None of that. They literally sit there believing their lies, the lies that they tell other people on about you, the scenarios, the false scenarios of how things went down. Everything they tell other people, they literally sit there actually believing that, yeah, this is what happened, because their perception of how it happened and how it actually happened are two different things. Okay? So anyone who is just now dealing with the discard, please understand that what you are feeling is not love. That love flew out the window a long time ago. So if you were with them, let's say 5 years, and you just now got discarded, the love, I would say, somewhere along the lines that you had for that person was probably midway, that the love flew out the window and it became attachment. That's all it became, was attachment. And that attachment was that trauma bond. And I just I want so much to, yeah. Sarah says he blames me for him physically attacking me. The deflection. That's deflection. Okay, that is deflection. I want to get into it with you guys and explaining. I'm gonna get back to you guys on the questions and the things. And like I said, any questions I don't get to answer here, please, guys, please, you can send me a private message. You can email me narcsurvival101@gmail.com. You can send me a private message on Instagram. The link is also in my bio. But what I wanted to talk about was the traumatic bonding. And the reason I want to talk about that is because I know that some of you, or a lot of you actually, have gone through these situations with these types of people. And of course, people on the outside don't understand what you have dealt with. They don't understand what you have endured. And literally, the fact that you were, if you really think about it, you were being held captive. Okay? You were being held captive based on false pretense. All right? Now, traumatic bonding is simply this, and I'm going to try to give it to you as simple as possible. Okay? It is an unhealthy connection between an abuser and the person that they are abusing, which is the victim. All right? Now, this connection is masked. And what it is it's sustained with reward and punishment behavior. So let me give you the prime example of it. You meet someone, they're great, they're nice, they're sweet, they're cool, you're vibing, you're having a great time, you think they're your soulmate. Naturally, you don't really say that out loud, but you think that, oh my gosh, this is too good to be true. Okay, and you know what they say about that? 9 out of 10 times it is. But you have a connection, it's a very intense connection that you have with that person, and you build a bond. Okay, over time, you guys are connecting with each other, you're building a bond, you're attaching to one another. Now, that sweetness, that coolness, that kindness, and all that good stuff, after a certain period of time, begins to decrease, and you start to notice changes in their behaviors. You start to notice changes with their actions, with their words. You start to notice they're getting a little bit cold. You start to notice the attitudes are really coming in. You start to notice that they're being, condescending, or they're talking to you like if you're, for lack of a better word, they're talking to you like if you're stupid, that you don't really get it. Okay. That's the beginning stage of it. Now, when they start doing this, okay, this keep in mind, keep the word in mind, conditioning, and I'm going to explain it to you. When they start doing this, you start to question things. Where the hell did this come from? Why are you, acting this way? Why are you speaking this way? Why are you not being the person that I met when we first started dating? Their behaviors, they will then deflect onto you. Okay? Now, listen, nobody's perfect. Nobody gets it right all the time. And there are going to be times that you're not always going to be able to stroke the narcissist's ego. You're not going to always be able to validate them and give them everything they want, because, we got jobs, right? You got a life. You got to do things for yourself too. So when you start to even subconsciously, you're not doing anything to intentionally hurt them. But when you start to pretty much get comfortable, you're getting complacent in your relationship. And even so, even if we're not doing nearly as much as we used to do in the beginning, but we're still loyal, we're still loving, we're still giving, we're still caring. What a narcissist does, and this is let me just throw this in here. Your job, your job as the victim of a narcissist is to stroke their ego while simultaneously soothing their insecurities. Okay? That was a job that you were given, and you didn't even apply for that. Just keep that in mind. So now, when their attitudes start to change, when they start to get really cold, or they may get hostile, or they're just kind of flipping the script, you're wondering what's going on. They're blaming you for their attitude change. They're blaming you, and well, you did this, and if you hadn't done that, and if you hadn't said this, if you hadn't gone there, whatever the case may be, they're blaming you for Jekyll and Hyde. Absolutely, exactly. They're blaming you for why it is they're acting the way they're acting. Now, this is their way of conditioning you. Okay, so now what do? You start to do things to conform. You start to conform to their desires, to their wants. You start to change yourself because you're internalizing the reason they're acting like an ass is because of you. When you start to change things, you are pleasing them. When you're pleasing them, you're stroking their ego, you're giving them what they want. Then what do? They give you the nice behavior. They're sweet to you again. They're kind to you again. They're loving towards you. They're giving you affection and validation and so forth and so on. And this is a repetitive cycle in your relationship. So it's back and forth. It's sustained. It's an unhealthy attachment sustained by reward and punishment behavior. You are associating. This is what I talk about conditioning. They're conditioning you because you're associating their attitudes, their nasty, however way they treated you, which was completely and utterly wrong in your relationship. You're associating that with, I did something wrong. Okay, let me do something even bigger and better so that way I'll get the good behavior again. And when you do it, and it's back and forth, and it's back and forth, it's repetitive, okay? This is the formation of a trauma bond. They're going back and forth based on how they're treating you. So now they'll treat you nice. Remember what I said in my video, guys? They treat you nice Monday. They love you. They kiss you, hugs and kisses, all that good stuff, family dinners. And then Tuesday, they're nasty and they're mean and they're horrible towards you. And then Wednesday, they're, I love you. I'm sorry. It'll never happen again. We can work on this. It'll change. And it continues. And it continues throughout your relationship. And the longer you stay in that, the more deeper that trauma bond gets. Now, the reason you're staying there, even after all of that, is because your mind is trying to make something that is illogical, it's trying to make it logical. It's trying to take that puzzle piece, that huge puzzle piece, and it's trying to fit it in that little tiny slot where it does not fit. Okay. And because you have mass confusion, because this behavior is very confusing, it confuses you and you become dissociative. So now you're losing touch with the actual reality of this situation. You're not thinking about it being a trauma bond. You're not thinking that this person is just severely crazy. You're trying to, and for those who suffered codependency, if you have suffered codependency, if you suffered fear of abandonment, if you suffered any kind of traumatic issues that, maybe you never really came to terms with, or you never really got healing done, your traumas are triggered in the midst of this, because when they are showing you behaviors that are, rejecting, they're rejecting you. If they're giving you the cold shoulder, if they're not being lovey-dovey with you, if they're not doing the nice things they used to do for you, and they're showing you disregard, they're showing you disrespect, what you are doing is you're being triggered. Your traumas are being triggered. Your fear of abandonment is being triggered. Your fear of rejection is being triggered, and you are then going above and beyond yourself to try to keep that person even more. They know that their behaviors, first of all, what did I tell you guys? People are aware of their behaviors. People are aware of the decisions they make. They know what they're doing. Okay? They know what they're doing. But because you're being triggered, I know this because I used to be a codependent, and that was exactly what I was experiencing. When I was being rejected, I mean, first of all, nobody wants to be rejected, right? Who wants to be rejected? Nobody. And often you have people who face rejection and may try to, continuously go back to try to fix things. But someone who is traumatically bonded to another individual suffers codependency, suffers fear of abandonment, is going to be a lot more invested in those types of relationships because of that fear. It's because of that fear. So if people come to you and say, well, if this person was like this and this person was doing all of these mean and hurtful things to you, then why did you stay so long? Why did you stay involved with this person if that was the case? Because you were traumatically bonded with them. Okay? You were traumatically bonded with them. When things were going good, you were working 10 times harder to make your relationship look pristine, look beautiful, look good to the outside people. Because in your relationship, with you being traumatically bonded, you were also enabling. You were enabling the behaviors. Believe that or not, you were. Listen, it happened to me too, so we can all admit to that. And what you were doing, a lot of us were doing, was showing to the outside world that it's all good. It's all gravy. It's I mean, we got a little problems, but we're good. Not really allowing people to see that you guys were severely headed in a very dark path. Okay? Because that's exactly where it was going to end. This back and forth behavior is continuous in your relationship until they finally decide that either A, they want to discard you, or B, you, by the hands of God, see through the nonsense and see things for what it is, and you decide that you want to discard them. Now, if they have any idea in their mind that you have intentions on breaking up with them, discarding them, releasing them, they're going to try to beat you to the punch. They're not going to allow you to reject them. They're not going to allow you to let them go. They're going to be the ones to do it to you. Okay? So if you've ever found yourself trying to communicate with them about certain flaws in the system, which is your relationship, and they get that idea of, ooh, this person's getting a little too close to seeing what is going on, or this, they're getting a little too close to seeing my true deep inner flaws, and I can't have that. I'm going to reject you before you reject me. No, no, Harry, you can't honestly communicate with them, because if you try to communicate with them, they're going to twist your words. Narcissistic people twist other people's words. Okay. They will always twist your words. And you can give them a whole paragraph of what has been concerning, with what you've been concerned with. But they will focus primarily on the things that you are, for you're criticizing them. So it's like to say, if you tell them, listen, I noticed that we don't like have date night on Fridays like we used to have them, and I'm just trying to understand what's going on. you know they can take that as you're not being a man, or you're not being a woman in this relationship. They twist everything around. So even if you try to effectively communicate with them, they're going to twist all of your words. Thank you so much for the gift, sweetheart. They're going to twist your words around, because they know that they're not doing what they should be doing in the relationship. They know that they're not giving you the maximum that you deserve. They know that they are not emotionally invested, but because you have something that is supplying them, they're not really going to, sit there and say, because these people, like I say it all the time, they want the benefits of a relationship. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to put the work into it. They don't want to invest emotions into it. They just want what you can supply them. Okay, whether that be money, whether it be sex, it be, a place to stay, it be constant attention, constant compliments, what have you. They can be extremely superficial or they can be extremely pathological. It's really depending on the person that you're dealing with. But their level of connection, their level of commitment is non-existent. It's non-existent. They're committed to the game. That's what they're committed to. They're committed to getting whatever they can out of you as far as resources is concerned. But they're not committed to emotionally fulfill the relationship, not emotionally fulfill you, because that's your job, but emotionally fulfill the relationship and meet you halfway so you guys have a healthy, beautiful relationship. And of course, it's a lot easier for people to shift the blame onto other people, especially when you have spent so much time in your relationship cleaning shit up. Think about it. Even when you were going through the traumatic bonding of the hot and cold behavior, the back and forth, the 1 minute you're lovey-dovey, the next minute you're fighting, the 1 minute you're, happy-go-lucky holding hands, the next minute you're practically at each other's throats. They rely on the fact that you were kind of like the gatekeeper. You were holding everything in. You weren't letting anything out because that's what an enabler's job is. It's to hide everything behind closed doors or, in private. So nobody knew what was going on, because if you dealt with the kind of narcissist that was affectionate and loving, bless you, affectionate and loving during your public time, but in your private time, they were rude, they were cruel, they were argumentative, they were very volatile. They weren't really meeting your needs. They weren't really, cooperating with you. But then the next day, they're loving you again and they're happy and they're just, I'm sorry. They're bringing you, they're pretty much conditioning you to adapt to these behaviors so you'll conform to whatever it is they want. Oh, yeah, amor de la vida. These videos have helped me so much to get out of this relationship, but there are still traumas. And there is. Listen, I still have traumas from when I was a child. We all have childhood trauma in some way, shape, or form. Okay? And I think part of the reasons why a lot of us not only stay in these relationships, because codependence, narcissists and codependents are more what's the word for it? They're more common because they last longer. They last a lot longer. A narcissist can get away with so much with a codependent person. A codependent person suffers trauma. They suffer abandonment wounds. They suffer rejection wounds. They suffer, the fear of being alone, just being left behind. So a narcissist, let's just say a narcissist goes to an amusement park, or you have a whole crap load of narcissists that go to an amusement park that's filled with nothing but codependence, they're going to have a feast, because a codependent person wants someone to love them, wants someone to validate them, wants someone to, just any little inkling of appreciation. And a narcissist does that. They do that to a codependent. They'll give them a little, they'll give them an inch, but the codependent will give them 10 yards just for that little inch. And when they see that they can get that 10 yards just only by giving you the little inch, they take advantage. They take advantage. They take you for granted. Okay. They treat you like dirt because they look at you as weak. They look at you as weak. You're too loyal to me. You love me too much. All of this treatment that I was giving to you, all of this trauma bonding that I was imposing on you, and you're still here. That is their mentality. So now, when it comes time to leave, you suffer, because Stockholm Syndrome is a type of trauma bonding, okay? Stockholm Syndrome. I know a lot of you have probably heard of it, okay? And that's pretty much the victim feeling feelings of positivity, feeling feelings of empathy and sympathy and love. I thank you, Evelyn. Thank you, sweet. I'm sorry. Let me just double check and make sure. Sparkling, thank you so much, sweetheart. But because you were giving them that love, you were giving them that, what the heck was I? I got so caught up. I'm sorry, guys. Stockholm Syndrome. I'm so sorry. The victim is feeling certain feelings towards the abuser because the abuser is, again, sustaining the connection with reward and punishment type of behavior. So over time, the victim is carrying feelings of empathy, sympathy, and in some cases, love for the same person who captured them and kept them against their will. Now, granted, a narcissistic person, your narcissistic ex, your narcissistic family member did not keep you at your own will in that they kidnapped you and, handcuffed you to a radiator. But given the circumstance, they utilize manipulation. They utilize manipulation to keep you stuck in that situation. Okay. And again, a lot of people who are standing on the outside won't understand that. They don't understand what that is. They just look at it as, oh, something there had to have been something good because otherwise you could have left a long time ago. Yeah, there were good times. And those were good behaviors. Those were my little brownie points for complying with the narcissist. Because if I did not comply with them, I was being scapegoated. That's exactly what you went through. You guys heard of golden child, scapegoat, right? When a narcissist parent has a golden child and a scapegoat, they have one child that they treat really good, and they have another child that they treat like pure and utter crap. The narcissist pretty much combined both into one when it boiled down to you. Okay? They treated you good. They treated you sweet. They treated you, like you were on the biggest pedestal. And then what happens? They tear you down. And when you're wondering, well, what did I do or what happened that you're tearing me down? Oh, well, you did this and you did that, or they'll even make you feel bad for being on the same pedestal they put you on. They'll make you feel like crap. Then there were days that you didn't know what you were going to deal with, right? How many of you have woken up and said, what's going to happen today? What am I going to deal with today? Am I going to deal with the nice person? Am I going to deal with Dr. Jekyll, or am I going to deal with Mr. I mean, which one am I going to deal with today? And there's a part of you, the logical sense of yourself, that's telling you, you need to get the hell up out of here. You need to go. This person is not treating you right. This person's not talking to you right. They're disrespecting you. They're treating you like you're a child. They're treating you like you need them. They don't need you. But then there's that other part of you, which is more than likely your heart, saying, but they've been through a lot. They had a rough childhood. You're rationalizing. Well, they're not that bad. It's not always that bad. The fights we have, they're not so bad. So, maybe if we just give it a little more time, and maybe if I mention possibly, just a little bit, mention us getting maybe some couples therapy or what have you. No, mi amor, it's not going to change. It will not change. That trauma bond, what your body is experiencing, if you've gone through the discard, if you're going through the discard, your body is experiencing withdrawals. It's kind of like being on a drug, okay? When you were with them, you were on a drug. Your body releases so many hormones, so many pheromones. So the relationship was the drug. It was intoxicating. What do drugs do to you? I'm not talking about the medicinal drugs, okay? The drugs that make you feel better when you're sick, or the Advils or the Tylenols. No, I'm talking about the kind of drugs that people are addicted to that eventually can end up killing them. That's the kind of drug that your relationship was, okay? It's like being on opioids. You're addicted to the person. You're not even in love with them anymore. So I'm going to tell you yet again, because I feel like I need to say it again. You are not in love with them. You are not in love with them. And for any of you, please remind yourself that I am not in love with them. I am unhealthily attached to them. That love flew out the window a long time ago and it turned into attachment. That is it. Okay? So remember that. I am not in love with this person. I am not, because love does not treat me that way. Love does not hurt me. And I value myself way too much to even consider that kind of treatment to be love. When you're breaking free from that trauma bond, your body is experiencing some kind of chemical reaction. Okay? What happens to someone who's addicted to drugs and now they have to go cold turkey and they can't get the drug anymore? They go through withdrawals, right? They go through withdrawals. So now your body is experiencing withdrawals because of the separation. After the discard, you're not getting phone calls. You're not getting those I love you text messages. You're not getting the I'm sorries. You're not even getting apologies. You're not getting anything. Okay? And you're sitting there and it's, I'm going to correlate it with a fiend. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? You're constantly on your phone. You're checking their social media. You're checking their friends' social media. You're checking to see who they're talking to. You're checking to see who are these chicks that's all of a sudden commenting on your pictures? Who are these dudes that are all of a sudden commenting on your pictures? And you're driving yourself crazy and you're going through withdrawals. And some of you probably have felt the physical palpitations, like the reactions where your body is shaking uncontrollably, right? I've been there. Trust me. I've been there. You're shaking uncontrollably and you don't understand what the hell is going on, that it's starting to freak you out. You're actually literally freaked out. Like, why can't I control myself? Okay? That is the withdrawals. Because now your brain and your heart are at war with one another. And you are like the innocent bystander. You're in the middle of it all because you don't know what to do. You don't know how to feel. They didn't give you clarity. And that's all for a purpose too. That is all for a purpose too. They didn't give you clarity because they don't want you knowing who they truly are, because they have all intention to try to come back to you at some point. They have all intention to come back with some bullshit excuse, some bullshit lies, fake promises, all types of illusions. They have all the intentions to come back to you and say, oh, they didn't mean nothing to me. I wasn't doing nothing with nobody. This is why you don't get clarity. This is why they gaslight you guys, okay? I didn't do anything with anybody else. I wasn't with anybody else. I was just taking time for myself and trying to figure out what I wanted and what I needed and so forth and so on. Okay? You have no clarity. A lot of people end up taking people back because of the lack of clarity, because they're saying to themselves, they're rationalizing again, well, technically, I didn't really see this person. I mean, this is for people who haven't really gotten the clarity that they needed, okay? But technically, I didn't really see this person cheating. Technically, I didn't see them really be with anyone else, or, I didn't see them. I wasn't there to know what was going on. And, what if I'm making an assumption? What if I'm making a mistake? How many of you said that? How many of you said that? What if I'm making a mistake? What if I'm making all these things up in my head? That is the result of the gaslighting. That is the result of them filling your head up with all kinds of baloney to keep you confused. To keep you confused. Okay? You see, and this is why I tell you guys, if you are ever concerned that you may break no contact, you may be, afraid that, oh my gosh, maybe I might, let me tell you something. I'm going to make this clear to you, okay? I'm going to tell you how low people like this will stoop, okay? They'll stoop as low as faking being in the hospital because they got into a car accident or something happened to them or something happened to a family member, and they know that you kind of have, you still kind of have a soft spot. Okay. If they, try to text you, if they still have your number and they try to tell you, I'm in the hospital, I was just in a car accident. And you know what? If you absolutely have to break no contact, okay, what I would tell you to tell them, well, your fingers aren't broken and you're still communicating, which lets me know you're still alive. So what the hell do you want? Okay? You have to be cold with them. You have to be cold. And I don't mean be a real B or be a real asshole, because you don't want to like provoke them into doing, but you have to be very indifferent. Be indifferent with them. Okay? Show no concern. Even if it kills you, if it's killing you and it's hurting you, it could be hurting you to your deep core, because you want more than anything to just run to that person and give them a big hug because you think you love them. And yet again, I'm going to remind you, you're not in love with them. You're not in love with them. Okay? You are not in love with them. Say it after me. I'm not in love with them. I'm not in love with them. It's a trauma bond. I am not in love with them. It is a trauma bond. And this that they are doing is a ploy to not only get me to break no contact, but it's a ploy to suck me right back in and put me through everything that they originally put me through, only worse. Absolutely. Absolutely. Butterfly says you can't love someone who isn't real. You know what you loved? You loved the projection of yourself. Believe it or not, you projected those good behaviors onto them. That was all you, sweetheart. That was all you. Okay? How you projected onto them, you projected those good behaviors onto them. That was all you. Okay? You, through your perception, through your eyes, the goodness, the sweetness, the yumminess, the empathy, the just the tenderness. That was all you. Okay? So now, since you are already really technically, because we're going to be technical, right? Since you were technically loving on yourself in the relationship, now's the time to take it and start really truly loving yourself after all of this nonsense. Lulu, it's hard. I know it's hard to have children, especially when you have children with these people, because they will, I know you wish they had like a sign over their head that would give you the indication of, if they are suffering a personality disorder, which one are they suffering, and you know like to what degree, but the best thing I can say, in maintaining a cordial, in that you want to make sure that no matter what, you keep a healthy setting for your children, is again, just be indifferent. You have to be indifferent. Okay. The minute you show emotions, the minute you show reactions, the minute you jump out of line, or you just get up and you start screaming, or that's what they want. Okay. Don't give them what they want, guys. Don't give them, they want you to be mad. They don't want you, they want you to hate them. Believe it or not, guys, believe it or not, they want you to hate them, because you hating them means that, one, they can continuously evade accountability, you know, because you hating them means that they have control over your emotions. They have control over your emotions. They still have space in your head. They still know that you still have any kind of feelings towards them. They don't care if it's positive. They don't care if it's negative. They want you to hate them. And it's easier said than done, but your best bet is to forgive when you're ready, of course. When you're ready, of course. Forgive and actually just get on with your life. Forgiving them does not mean you have to let them back in. You don't have to let them back in. You don't have to let them anywhere near you. And I'm quite sure that, if you have to, get a restraining order if you need to, because these people, they don't stop. They won't stop. Okay. A lot of them like to push your buttons, I'm sure. A lot of them like to do, unnecessary dramatics, be it if it's online or in a friend group or, around you. You don't have to let these people back in your life. You don't owe them anything. And your loyalty should be with you, not with them. A lot of victims tend to not do what's necessary even after a discard, because they feel that if they do, oh my gosh, I'm betraying this person. This person's been betraying you your entire time. First of all, traumatically bonding someone, to me, why would I do that? If I'm going to be upset with you about something, it's going to be about something you actually did, not because I'm feeling like a whining little kid and I want to blame you for my attitude. If I'm going to be mad at you for doing something out of the confines of our relationship, it's because you did something out of the confines of our relationship, not because I woke up one morning and I'm like, I hate myself, so let me project it onto this person and blame this person that they're the reason why I hate myself. But of course, I got to make something else up because I can't let them know that I hate myself. Who does that? Really? Um, Jesse, I'm sorry. Jessica, question. Um, ref, they're reflect, did you try to say reflecting or rejecting? I just want to make sure. On the self-love we give, but about the bad, am I the narcissist too? I mean, most people, and people who are extremely narcissistic or who are narcissists, they're not even concerned with the fact or the idea of them being a narcissist. Okay, they're pretty much, I'll step over people's toes and not give a damn about it. Okay, their thing is they'll step over your toes and you'll be like, hey, you stepped on my toes. Well, your toes shouldn't have been in my way. Okay, they don't care. They don't care. They're pretty much, I am who I am. They're in denial about themselves, clearly. They're in complete denial because they won't get help. They don't feel like they need to evolve. They're pretty much, they look at themselves as being ahead of, of others. So what's the point of evolving? What's the point of growing? What's the point of changing? Their take of it is, I have a strong mind. I go for what I want. Okay. I don't take shit from nobody, and you can't handle that. That's their perception of themselves. That's their perception of themselves. We can see them for who they are, which are selfish, self absorbed, self gratifying people who aim to, utilize manipulation just to get what they want out of people or out of situations, and don't see themselves at fault for anything. And if you try to point out their flaws, or if you try to point out the things that they have done, because they've never taken, listen, if someone takes accountability for the wrongs that they have committed towards you, then and you have forgiven them, then no, you don't have a right to throw that in their face because that had been squashed. But if you have someone who did you dirty, refuse to take accountability for it, and then has the audacity to feel entitled to come back in and try to resume position in your life, and when you try to bring something up to them, like, wait a minute, so we're just going to not bring the elephant in the room and talk about this situation over here? Oh, well, that happened like 5 years ago. You're still stuck on that? Oh, now you want to throw things in my face? Now you can't get over things? Narcissistic people, narcissists, they're not aware of themselves. They're not self-aware. They refuse to acknowledge their own behaviors, their patterns, their actions. They refuse to acknowledge all of these things. So if you just like I believe it was Lulu who said it. if you're concerned, if you're really deeply concerned if you are a narcissist, then chances are you're probably not. But if you want to be sure, because listen, at the end of the day, again, we all are capable of being narcissistic. Okay? Anyone is capable of being narcissistic, whether it be a temporary state of mind, or just living throughout our lives. Anyone is capable of being narcissistic. If you want to be sure about it, you can go to a therapist and they can evaluate you. They can evaluate you. And at the end of the day, if your characteristics or your traits are more bordering narcissistic in that, the things that you do, then you can work on different exercises and different types of sessions with a therapist to help you break out of that. Okay? Narcissism is a programming. That's what that is. It's a programming. It has nothing to do with your birth. Like, you're not born with narcissism. You're not born a narcissist. This is a programming that's been embedded in the minds of people based on their surroundings, based on the people who have raised them, how they've raised them. That's all that is. Okay, which is why it's more common that people are more narcissistic in nature than they are an actual narcissist. Okay, if you look around, plenty of people who are narcissistic, but they may not necessarily be diagnosed as a narcissist. And at the end of the day, if it's something that you feel you need to do, just do it. Therapy is a good thing. Therapy does not have to be a bad thing. You can go get checked out. And even if that's the case, and they say, yeah, you can work on some things to better yourself, hey, at least you're doing it. These people don't give a damn. They can go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years up until their death being a narcissist. Adolf Hitler, narcissistic sociopath. He went to his grave being who he was. All of these serial killers, they went to their graves being who they are. Oh, not dimming my shine. And I'm glad. I'm glad, guys, that the content helps you guys. I'm glad that the lives, checking in with you guys is helping you. We do support groups. I've been doing support meetings, on Zoom. I've been trying my best to, open that up so that way more and more people can join. If you're interested in doing a Zoom support meeting, please, again, send me an email, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. Okay. It's just basically a group of people who are sitting together around a campfire with drinks in our hands, and we're talking and we are venting, and we are not hearing from anyone that, you're still talking about that. You're still not over that. Oh my gosh, it's been like how long and you still can't get over it. You hear nothing like that. This is a meeting. These are meetings solely for people who need the support to get through their emotions, and get through the process. Okay? So if you are interested, please send me the email and we can take it from there. I'll give you, the deets on everything, and you guys will be able to have the opportunity to express yourselves, talk about it, and it is for free. There's no charge. So you can join us. Okay, we have plenty of great people who come to the meetings, and it's just having a great time. It's like a bunch of friends sitting together who have never met each other but have experienced so much of the same thing, that have so much in common. It really is. It's awesome. Trust me. I'm there. I'm there with you guys too. It's a bunch of awesome people there. Can an empath turn into a narcissist? I think an empath has the capability of being narcissistic. They have the abilities of being narcissistic, but being a narcissist more stems from, like, deep down from childhood. Like, this is a programming that is deeply rooted and deeply stemmed. But an empath can be narcissistic. Yes. Okay. That they can definitely be narcissistic. Hold on one second. Um, Amor de la vida, ahora mismo no, pero si quiere, mándame un mensaje, ¿ok? Y, y vamos a ver que si yo puedo hacer todo en español. I think I need to start doing my content in Spanish too. I need to start doing my content in Spanish too, guys. Sorry, I was answering a question for someone, but you're gonna put the okay. Mi compañera vas a poner mi correo electrónico y puede mandar un mensaje. Not dimming my shine, it is horrifying. It is. Sometimes we all wish. Hamid, I'm sorry, Hamid, just send me the email because the meetings, I'm still working on the schedules. But if you send me an email, I can send you the proper forms that we would need. It's a non-disclosure form, and then I could put you on a group list. Okay, so because I get a lot of different requests from different people, so I'm breaking them down into groups. But if you can send me an email and we'll take it from there. I will notify anyone who's interested in the meetings. I'll notify 24 to 48 hours before the actual meeting. I'm trying so hard to really just set up a schedule so I can send it to you guys and you guys can see when the schedules are. So that way, you know what I think I should do? I think what would be easiest. I'm sorry, guys, I'm talking to my best friend. Um, I think we should set up the meetings like on the schedule, send them out, and then people can choose what days would be good for them for those, for the groups. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. Makes it easier too. All right, so here's how I'm going to do it. I know you guys already heard it. Um, I'm going to pretty much set up the days on a calendar. I'm going to put the meeting days on those calendars. I'll send it out to those who've already emailed me, okay? And for those who've already signed the non-disclosure notices, I'm going to send that out to you. And then you let me know what days you're good for, and I can mark you down for that particular day to do the meeting. So it works with your schedule, it works with my schedule, and everybody's happy. Okay? So I think that's what we'll do. Well, Amber, it's because the deeply rooted, it's that's the ingraining of actual narcissism. But a narcissist parent doesn't have to only have narcissistic children. It depends on how the children internalize the abuse. You can have a parent who's a narcissist, and one child can adopt the abusive behaviors of that parent. They can just internalize it if they, for example, have, because remember, there are different types of narcissists. Okay, and in most cases I call them either the scapegoat types or the golden child types. Okay, but the scapegoat types are the ones who internalize their abuse in a very negative, toxic way. These are the more toxic narcissists, okay? The ones that are more verbally abusive, and that it more shows in their behaviors. And they're very extremely low self-esteem, like beyond low self-esteem. Or you have the golden child type narcissists that are extremely entitled, extremely grandiose. They're very, I'm special, I'm better than everyone else. But a parent can create more than one type of child. It doesn't have to be a narcissist. They can have a child that just pretty much maybe tuned out the abuse, didn't adopt the abusive behaviors, and actually just decided to do things in their own, go in their own direction. Codependents on that same boat. Okay, narcissist parents don't just create narcissist children. They have children that can be empaths, empathetic kids, codependents. They have children that are called the lost child. The lost child is the one who, oh no, the forgotten one. I'm sorry, the forgotten child. And that's a child who didn't really, was just like, yeah, okay, talk your shit. I'm done. I'm not even gonna phase. You're not phasing me. But when you have a family dynamic that, if there's more than one child, if the narcissist parent is, scapegoating one child, making another one the golden child, the forgotten child, maybe the one that may just be the empathetic one may have a chance of having a more, because they didn't really get the kind of abuse that the other ones were getting. Believe it or not, golden child, that's still abuse. It's very unhealthy attachment. Okay, even though they treat that child better than the scapegoat child, that's still abusing because they're pretty much filling up that kid's head based on their own ego. They're giving that kid that false sense of self. It's not even that child. They strip the children of their identity and they lay on their identity onto their children. But often you have children who just go their own way, who do not recognize the behaviors as being adoptive. They just look at it as, you're crazy, you got something wrong with you because this is clearly not right. I am not going to treat people like this because I didn't do anything to you to be treated this way. So why am I going to? A lot of us are like that. How many of you guys have narcissistic parents or narcissist parents and you chose not to be like them? You chose to be something different, better, especially when it came to raising your children and doing for your kids. So it definitely, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's possible. It's just a matter of how we adopt it, how we adopt with it, how we internalize the abuse, and and just so you understand, it doesn't have to just be a narcissist parent, because I explained this before. To experience narcissistic abuse, the person doesn't necessarily have to be a narcissist. It's the abuse is the action. It's pretty much the action. So it's in the interim. Narcissistic abuse can be projected, or inflicted on someone who is not a narcissist. It could be someone who's emotionally detached and just, has no type of regard for people. They don't necessarily have to be a narcissist. They could just be someone who is just emotionally unavailable, detached, and because of certain behaviors they've learned throughout their life, they're projecting it onto other people. Yeah, not dimming my shine. Yeah, it's who I'm like, why would I treat people the way I was treated when they didn't do anything to me for me to treat them that way? But unfortunately, a lot of you were also victims, of being scapegoated for someone else's abuse towards that narcissistic person. A lot of you were. User 847, thank you. I will. Just Amor de la Vida, just send me the email and I'll send it over to you. I think I have to start doing my content in Spanish too. Yes. You see, not dimming my shine. So you see how, okay, so she mentions it made my brother a narcissist. So she mentions her brother is a narcissist, but she's not. She's on the opposite side of the spectrum, right? So you guys can have brothers and sisters and be raised by a narcissist parent, a narcissistic parent. And if you have a relative, one of your siblings turns out to be a narcissist, but you choose to not be that way, that means that, they adopted the abusive behaviors while you decided to block that out and say, no, that's not logical. That's not right. I didn't do anything to you. You're basically the person of reason. I didn't do anything to you to deserve this kind of treatment. And I'm not going to push that on to other people because at the end of the day, they didn't do anything to hurt me. Um, Rafim, it's oh, she's putting it back up. Is there a way to pin that? I don't think we can. Yeah, Sparkling Sea Fairy. This guy I know is one, and his siblings are normal. And that it could be that particular person. Could have been scapegoated. Could have been, golden child. It could be back and forth. It could be back and forth. They when it comes to a narcissistic parent, if they have one child, they can do that back and forth with one child. Okay? That is also creating, what did I tell you guys? A trauma bond. Did I not say that? It's back and forth behavior. They scapegoat when the child is not compliant with them, and then they love bomb and they make the child the golden child because the child is complying with them. This is where they learn those behaviors, guys. This is where they learn those behaviors. They learn these behaviors. These are behaviors that are learned. When a mommy or daddy is pleased and satisfied with the child, they get put on the pedestal and they get the extension of the ego of the parent projected onto them because good job, my boy. Good job, my girl. But then what happens? When the child doesn't comply and the child is, not fulfilling the supply of the narcissistic parent, they get scapegoated. Oh, you're worthless, you're this, you're that, and blah, 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 whatever. And the child internalizes that as, oh, I got to get back on mommy's good side. I got to get back on daddy's good side. And then what do? They internalize it and then they, boom, go back and it's back and forth, back and forth. And it's like that. It's like that for a long time. Oh, thank you for the gifts. Alfie? I hope I said it right. Thank you, sweetheart. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Lulu says, did you see that? Put the email in the Q&A section, then you can pin it. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for that. Because I know her fingers are getting tired. She keeps typing it. Oh, Alfie, thank you. I've been studying. And when I went through my discard and I went through the motions, and I felt that I was ready to like become again part of the world and become, come out of isolation, which if a lot of you are isolating, if a lot of you are dealing with that isolation, I want you guys to know that isolation is not a bad thing. Okay. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just basically time for you to be with yourself, be by yourself. You can turn it around for you. Okay. You can turn it around for you. And I can say this with conviction. Trust and believe when I say it is not the end of the world. It really is not. It's actually the beginning of a whole new world for you. Okay. But I when I went into going into my studies, I'm like trying so hard because it's kind of difficult like attending school physically. I have to do things online because I'm a mom, I work, and I have so much going on in my life, but it's so intriguing and so fascinating, and it's just like I get to make so much sense out of it. And then I get to share it with you guys because I know that it's tough, and it's sometimes some things are hard to understand. And listen, at the end of the day, if you're going through the motions and you're going through a discard, who has time to sit there and really try to read things and get deeply, like, oh, I got to sit here and concentrate. You can't concentrate. So I do the work. I do the work, and I like to just present it to you guys so you guys have it, and and you just you take it. Yeah, Christy, I want to be a psychotherapist. So I really want to go deeper with it. I really want to go deeper with it. Part of me, it's like I'm kind of on the fence though because I have so much of an opinion, and I'm sorry, but I can't help it because I'm like, okay, what if an actual narcissist comes into my office and I'm sitting there and they're like, trying to bullshit me? Am I allowed to say no? You're bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
Am I allowed to say that? Am I really?
All right, don't get
So
crazy.
so I guess I'm gonna do it then. I guess I'll do it. Oh, thank you, Christy. I'll do it. I'll be like, listen, okay, you're full of shit. Stop it. You need to go back and apologize to that girl and then leave her alone. That's what you need to do. Okay? Like, that'll be my response. Like I just I want so much, and I never knew. I think dealing with these people has really helped me to realize how much I care about people too much, and how much empathy I carry for people, and how much I just want to help other people. And mind you guys, I am a shy, well, I can't even say am, I was a shy introvert. I was very shy, very introverted. I never really had like grew up with a big group of friends, and listen, let alone sit in front of a camera and talk to, people from all over the world. I never imagined doing that. But I'm just, I found the blessing in my trauma, and I found the blessing in the lesson. And now I get to share it with other people so it can help them get through. Because, I've mentioned it before. I've gone through my discard and everything. I went through it alone. I went through it by myself. The only one I had by my side was God. That's it. I didn't really have anybody, you know, sitting with me and really letting me vent over and over and over again, and letting me, just try so hard to release without getting tired of hearing my mouth about it, So when I finally got through it, and I just finally decided to make a change, and do what I had to do, I decided that this is what I wanted to do. I want to help people. I want to help them get through what they need to. And as a parent, I don't ever want to see my son go through that. So a lot of you are parents, and you know, you guys need to be strong for your kids. And if I can help do that, help get you, your strength back, and help give you the support you need so you can be, cognitive and functional for your kids, and really be there in the moment for them, with them. Hey, let's do it. Let's do this. I thank you, Lulu. I thank you. Christine Lay, how do you financially get out? I know that each person's situation is different when it boils down to finances. I know that's different. It's difficult. You know, are there children? Are because a lot of the time to get on your own 2 feet, it's very difficult when you have kids. It's very difficult. Okay, 56, and you know what? What do you well, I guess the best thing would be is, to find, what what do you well, I guess the best thing would be is, to find, because I don't know where you stay, where you live, um, how the economy is, and now, with everything. I mean, we're still trying to transition back into normalcy with, with COVID, and I know it's hard for a lot of people, especially when it comes to finding jobs, and you know, this whole pandemic really screwed us up, like really screwed up the economy and screwed everybody up when it came down to their jobs. I would say, you know, Chrissy, if you can, what do you like? What are you good at? Find out what you're good at doing. Find out what you're good at doing. Find out if what it is that you're good at doing. If there are any openings to any places that can, you know. But I think it's more so finding out if it if it pays enough for you to be financially independent. Okay, because that's the key thing. Financial independence, you got to start. It starts small and working your way up. A lot of the time, if people are living with, let's say they're living with a narcissist, whether it be their parent or their spouse or what have you, and they want to break free from that, I'm a firm believer of, you got to crawl before you walk. So depending on if you can get a job, what type of job you get, how much it pays, what type of life would it sustain? Would it sustain a one bedroom type of life, a studio apartment type of life, or even renting a room type of life? But either way you look at it, depending on what it can do for you, that's one step to breaking free. That's one step to breaking free from being financially codependent on someone else. You have to configure your finances. You got to configure, you know, will it cover me and my single life if I do it? I always tell people, always check the pool before for water before you jump in. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to be financially free because, I just got a job. And Nothing, you got to do things in increments, and it has to start slow and steady. Okay, so even if it means you're working but you're still, cohabitating with that person, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you got to hide money, hide money. Okay, if it means contributing a little bit, to whatever bills or whatever it is that you can contribute, if that is the case, do it. But if you have to get away from the situation, that's what a lot of people do. They hide money. They'll get whatever they can, and they'll just put it away. They'll put it away. That's their cushion. Okay, primarily for people, especially women of domestic violence, when they're trying to get away from domestically abusive relationships, they'll end up, hiding money and just, to find the way out. So even if you start working now and you're still in that situation, it starts off small. It's going to be small. You got to do it in increments. You can't take the bull by the horns, especially when you don't know what's on the other side of everything. And considering the kind of economy we have, it's very shifty. So I want to make sure if you make a decision, you do it based on, what my friend would say, work smarter, not harder, right? So you have to configure everything, blueprint everything, and then figure it out from there. Lulu almost died delivering at 24 weeks and left when my son came home from. That's how selfish they are. That's how selfish. And we got to understand, remember what I said, narcissistic. I couldn't even say completely narcissistic people, but a narcissist is, they're not incapable, guys. They're not incapable of forming, no one is incapable of anything. Okay. But because they're so embedded in their programming and they're so embedded in the ideas and the ideals that was pretty much ingrained in their mind, they find it impossible to connect, which is why a lot of them don't connect with their children. They don't connect with them on an emotional level. They really don't. There is no, spending real true quality time. If a parent does, if a narcissistic parent does spend time with their children, thank you, Sunny D, for that. Thank you, sweetheart. If they do spend time with their children, it's either gonna, revolve around activities that the parent likes most, that's more entertaining toward, for the parent, or it's going to be, to show face. How many if you're dealing with a narcissist or a really narcissistic person and you're co-parenting with them, how many of them have sat there and not really truly connected with their children, but when you see them, if you see them online or if you see them, they're showing off as if they do X, Y, and Z for the kids, and they're the favorite. They're pretty much trying to show like they're the favorite parent. They're the best parent in the world, but they're not connecting with their kids. They're not really involving themselves with their kids. Okay, I've seen that plenty of times, and again, it's not that they're incapable, because you're capable of anything. Just like a narcissist is incapable of, showing love, they can be capable of doing it. It's just a matter of reprogramming and rewiring their brain. Quite frankly, if it were up to me, I'll give them a bit of electroshock therapy and do it that way. Just saying. Just saying. Smart. Not dimming my shine. I'm text only. I refuse to talk to him. He knows he lost me. And that's the best way to keep record of everything, every bit of communication that you have with them. I usually say text, email, any kind of communication that's tangible that you can have in your possession. Because sometimes, as smart as they like to think they are, eventually they slip up. They do slip up. They'll slip up with showing who they truly are in an email and a text message, especially if you're being indifferent with them, or if you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, not showing them any emotions. not feeding into them, they get annoyed, they may get aggressive. Always, always, always keep track of it. And Kate the model, voicemails too. Save those. Save the voicemails. See if you can take the recording and transfer it to a file. It's yeah, because you know something, this type of behavior, you can't really prove it in court. If you have to go to court, if you have to face a judge and deal with certain situations, custody battles, divorces, what have you, you can't sit there and say he was narcissistically abusive, he was emotionally abusive, he was psychologically abusive towards me. Okay? It would basically appear like any other woman who more than likely were victims, but then again, you have some women who've abused the system and were not victims, but they were just doing it to put an innocent person in jail or put an innocent person in debt. Everything has to be tangible. Everything has to be physical that you can actually provide to them. This is the proof. This is what I have to deal with. If you see, I'm ignoring them. I'm not responding to them. I'm not feeding into them. But look at all of these text messages. You get a lot fast, you get a lot further with actual proof than just word of mouth, which is why a lot of people who suffer this type of abuse, it's hard for them to, win cases and get through what they need to get through when it boils down to divorce because they don't have proof of this. Oh, yes, Kate the model. My ex called me a red flag. I had to give him his own voicemail since he didn't recall. And some of them might not, do it for simply fear of that you would have some form of proof on them. So they make sure they'll do it, verbally, like either over the phone or in front of you, you know, catch you off guard with it. Because as long as they can sting you, hit you where it hurts, and you don't have ample time to, to get that, like jot that down, get that recorded or what have you, they know what they do. Um, um, Blunts and Baila. I have an apology from when my ex slammed me on the head. That's like all the physical evidence I have. That just tore me up reading that, man. That really tore me up reading that. And you know something? It's they don't. And the thing about it is, I mean, you have therapists who say, they eventually feel guilt. Um, they feel, eventually they feel remorse. Um, that's what they say. I don't really know about all that, but I know for a fact that they feel shame. They feel shame because at the end of the day, you catch them in their shit and you finally, you say, no, it is what it is. I'm done. I'm not dealing with you. You show me who you are. And their intentions were not to get caught. They don't intend on getting caught. What did I say in my other video, guys? When you have someone who robs someone, right? They're not feeling guilt. They're not feeling remorse. They're not feeling any of that when they're doing what they're doing, right? When they're committing the act and they're getting what they want. Oh, excuse me. And this is iced tea, guys. So I don't even know why ooh. But they're not doing that. But if they get caught, they get prosecuted, and they're put in front of a courtroom filled with all these people that are there to judge them based on the crime they committed, they feel shame. And they only feel shame because they got caught. Because they got caught. Okay? They feel regret Because if nobody wants to deal with them, nobody wants to have any kind of involvement with them, and if they see that all the supply they try to go through really wasn't fulfilling them the way your supply was doing it, and since they screwed up and they can't get you back, and you're giving them a big go F yourself, then is when more probably they would feel some form of regret. But it still wouldn't even be regret for hurting you. It wouldn't be regret for doing the things they did to you. It would be regret based on their own feelings of hurt and pain because they lost you, your supply, your benefits, your empathy, your sweetness, your kindness, you cooked dinner for them when they came home. You gave them that good loving at night. You got their clothes out in the morning. You made breakfast for them. You checked in on them at work. You packed them a lunch. You did all this stuff for them. Okay, that's what they're mourning over. The grief that you had compared to the so-called grief they're feeling when they're going through narcissistic collapse or if they're going through some form of depression has nothing to do. Their grief has nothing to do with your pain. I can't believe I did this to that person. I can't believe I hurt this person the way I did. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. No. Their thing is, I can't believe I lost her and now I have no way of getting supply. I can't believe I lost him and now who's going to pay my rent? Who's going to put food in my, it's their own selfish reasons. It has nothing to do with the pain that you felt, the emotions you were feeling at that time, the grief, nothing. It had nothing to do with you. And you just deserve so much better than that, man. You do. Like I said it earlier, I'm going to say it again. If you feel that going through this, you're going through the discard, you're going through the motions, you're basically sitting here like, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Please let me be confirmation for you. Please let me be confirmation for you. They do not love you. They don't even love themselves. Okay? They don't love you. And you do not love them. You are traumatically bonded to them. It is a trauma bond. Okay, and I'm gonna do this every live just to make sure. No, I'm serious. I'm gonna do this every live to make sure because I want you to understand that is not love. Love does not do the things that that person or those people did to you. That was you staying with them a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. That was a trauma bond. That is what that was. Okay, you fell in love with someone who did not exist. You fell in love with the representative that they put in front of you. It's like that. I'm going to stand behind this illusion and present this as being something real. That trauma bond is deep. That trauma bond is hard. It's hard to break. It is hard to break, but not impossible, guys. Not impossible to break. Okay? And the more you realize your value, the more you realize what you deserve, the more it becomes easier to just loosen the grip. It becomes a lot more easier over time. Okay? You're going to have moments where you're going to have triggers. You're going to have rumination. You're going to be ruminating for a while. Yes, you will. I'm not going to deny you that. Okay? You're going to feel, some kind of way. There are going to be certain things. Now, this is, part of the PTSD. You're going to hear certain songs. You're going to smell certain scents. You're going to go in certain places that may bring a reminder to you. But I also want you to remind yourself as you are going through it, I am not in love with this person. I am traumatically bonded with this person, and I intend to break free from it. Okay? I intend to break free from it. I intend to let this person go, their memory, and everything they've ever done to me. It will happen. Keep saying that to yourself. Keep saying that to yourself. It was a trauma bond. The behaviors, the fellas, the emasculation, ladies, the put downs, the let downs, This was all a trauma bond. This was all conditioning based on this trauma bond. Everything that person said about me, everything that person said to me had nothing to do with me. It was all on them. Keep reminding yourself of that. Keep reminding yourself of that. What they said, I will not take personal. It is not my fault that they were screwed up by the people who were supposed to teach them otherwise. Say that to yourself. I am not responsible for that person's trauma. I'm not responsible for anything that happened to that person. I am responsible for myself, my own actions, and anything I have done to contribute towards the toxicity, towards anything done by my hand, I am responsible for. I'm not responsible for anything else. Keep reminding yourself. When I come back next week, okay, I'm going to be back here next week and we're going to do it all over again because I really want you guys to really, really break free from this. It is a hard, long, tedious process, but the end results will have you so elated and it will have you feeling like a totally different person. It'll have you looking different. It'll have you seeing everything differently. So much so to the point that people are going to come into your presence in your energy and they're going to truthfully probably be intimidated. I'm not going to lie to you about it. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's good because you need that. Oh, Chrissy Lane, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. But you need that. You need that. You need that don't mess with me attitude. Like I'm that it's like that the middle of self-love is not being conceited. I know I look good. I know I'm a good person. I know what I have to offer. I know what I bring to the table. And the people who match you when you reach that point, they're going to be gravitating towards you. So you guys better prepare yourselves for that. Because once you're done with your healing and you do everything you have to do, you're going to have a lot of different people gravitating towards you because your mindset, everything is going to be totally different. So you're going to be throwing out different energy, different kind of vibes. And you're going to have a lot of different people gravitating towards you. So you're going to have to beat them off with a stick. Hi, Stephen. How are you? Donna, and you know what I would tell you, honestly, I know like, it's just be careful. Just please be careful. Okay? Because usually, the whole point of no contact is to, clearly to break yourself from the attachment and stay away from that person and just kind of get on with yourself. But these people can also, because it's kind of like having multiple personalities. And when you're dealing with someone with a personality disorder or possibly mental health issues, you just always want to be careful with yourself. You know, try to, if you can, avoid any kind of confrontation. Try to, if you can, avoid any kind of communication with this person, and just avoid the being provoked and the other side too, provoking them. Okay, I know sometimes it's very tempting, but at the end of the day, it's like I just want to break free from this, and what little contact I give this person, if any, that's all that's going to happen. Nothing further than that. Okay, because these people they live to torment. They will try to torment your lives. So definitely, if you can, but just please be very, very careful. Thank you, Dr. Moses. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Clean and humble. Oh, thank you. I don't even know if I know who that person is, but I'm gonna take that as a compliment. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. Recovering and healing from a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's hard because you trust people. You know, you don't want to just spend the rest of your life not trusting people. You don't want to sit there and be like, I have trust issues with the entire world. But it does teach you something. It teaches you to trust yourself. Trust yourself to make the right choices, the right decisions. You know, it teaches you to bring discernment with you. Use your discernment. You know, go within if you have to. If you're not sure, just go within. Don't end up, because people with trust issues end up projecting, onto other people. And even if it's not intentional, you end up projecting onto other people, and that will push people away. That would, make people not want to be around you. And more so, it's like, you can inflict pain on others based on your trust issues. So I would just strongly say, oh, I thank you, Dr. Moses. Thank you. I'm breaking generational curses. Let's put it that way. Definitely breaking generational curses because I'm the first person in my family to actually be doing this. So I thank you very much. That's it's very very nice of you to say, and I'm very humble. Thank you. But yeah, definitely the whole trust issues thing. We all have that. We all have that within us. We do. We have even a little tinge of it. We do have that. But part of that is to protect us. We have to protect ourselves, you know? And in dealing with this, it just goes to show we gave a little too much trust in situations that really didn't deserve it. But you live and you learn, right? We live and we learn. Okay? We get up, we live, we learn, we do it all over again, only this time now we do it with what we learned. So just keep that in mind, guys, okay? Keep that in mind. I thank you guys so very, very much for being here tonight. I am I'm exhausted. I've been up since 7 this morning, but I was not gonna go without, being here with you guys and talking to you guys. Next week we'll be talking about some more stuff, some good stuff too. So if you haven't followed, please hit the follow button, and that way you're notified when I do my lives. And anybody, if I did not get to answer your questions, please, I don't like to leave people hanging, okay? I really don't. But the thing here just keeps going up and up and up, and it's so hard to keep track of everybody. But if you want to, send me your question in an email or in a personal message, you can do that. I would say do it on Instagram because I get my notifications better there. And if you want to email me again, narcsurvival101@gmail.com. You can send me the email if you're interested in the group meetings, the group sessions. Also email me. Every and anyone is more than welcome to join. There is no limitations. There's none of that. If you need group support, I'm here for you. Plenty of other people on my team that will be here for you. Let's just do this. All right. Let's break these generational curses. We can't get rid of them, guys. We can't get rid of them, but we can help people to discern them. We can help people to maneuver around them. We can help people to learn the signs so they know not they know how to just be a survivor and not a victim. Okay? My loves, you guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. Again, thank you so much for being here tonight. I am gonna work on some more I'm gonna work on some different content for you guys. I've just been so caught up, but I will definitely work on some content and try to, really pick up the pace with it and bring things up for you guys. Bam Lady Loyalty. Hi, sweetheart. I'm closing the chat, but if you want, you can send me a message on Instagram. Okay, the link is in my bio. You can send me a personal message on there, and I will be more than glad to help you with whatever it is you need. Yes, Amor de la Vida. If I don't get to do a group for that, I do one-on-ones. Okay, so that one is twice a month though, but I will definitely get that up for you guys, because I know I got to start doing my content in Spanish too, because I know English, I do for most, but now I gotta do this for Spanish too. So I will definitely get on top of that, start working on that. Thank you, Graceful Butterfly. Thank you, Stella, my love, for being here. Chrissy Lane, thank you. Leo Goddess, guys are awesome. Thank you so much for just being here tonight and just, you know, making me a part of your world. All right. Because that's exactly what you're doing. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all. Again, you need me, you know where to find me. I will be back here next week. I think it's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday.
What?
My next live next week.
Next Tuesday.
I think it's next Wednesday. It'll be either Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll be back here next week, same time, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. I am still contemplating if I'm going to do a live on my YouTube channel this week, because it is my son's birthday this week, the end of this week, and I am making him a cake, guys. I'm making my son a birthday cake, a Star Wars birthday cake. So if I don't get to do my YouTube live, people who are on my YouTube channel, I will definitely work something out for next week. But it's a special occasion, and my baby's turning 15, so I have to do it. All right. But guys, thank you again so very much for being here. You guys are amazing. I'll put up the pictures too so you guys can see it, okay? I do my little cake thing on the side too. I'll put it up for you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's going to be 15. Time flies by when you are, just enjoying life, and you have a beautiful child who just means the world to you. So I am going to clean up, because Big Mama's going to get ready to lay down. I'm getting old, but I will see you all next week, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Much love, peace, blessings, God's protection, you name it, all that good stuff for you. And remember, you're not in love with a narcissist. I'm not in love with the narcissist. Okay? I love you all. Have a beautiful night, beautiful week, and I'll see you guys next week. Good night, guys.